Rosemary oil has gone viral for the past year or so. So you may have tried the essential oil, your own oil mix, or the Mael Organics viral one. Now, if you've tried it and you're thinking, I don't get what the hype is about, I have used it and it has done absolutely nothing, or it worked a little bit, but I'm not impressed. In this video, I'm going to explain why rosemary oil doesn't work for you. So stay tuned all the way to the end because one of these issues might be why it doesn't work for you. If you don't know me, my name is Angelica. This is what my hair looks like. Hit the subscribe button if you want more content like this. So let's get into the first reason why rosemary oil does not work for you. I started with this one because it could most likely be the most annoying one, because if this is the reason rosemary oil doesn't work for you, it means you can never use rosemary oil. And this is that you are either sensitive to it or you are allergic to it. So rosemary oil is kind of like a grass. So there is a high chance that you could be allergic to it. I'm allergic to pollen, I'm allergic to certain types of grass and even dust. Luckily, I am not allergic to rosemary oil. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm allergic? Well, it's easy to tell. Is it making you itch? Now, it does tingle a little bit. That is different from making you itch. Does it make you itch? Does it turn your skin red? Does it make you break out in hives? Does it make you feel weird? It's always good to even do a little patch test, like on your arm, just to see if you have any reaction. Sometimes it's possible that you have no reaction on your arm, but you have a reaction on your scalp. But still test it out on something else, or maybe one little patch on your scalp first to see if you're reacting to it. So if you are allergic to it, the only way out of it is to just find an alternative. Peppermint oil has very similar effects to rosemary oil, and there's other things like minoxidil, but that's a medication that you need to get. You can get it from a pharmacy or a drugstore, I'm pretty sure, but because it's marketed as like a medication, a lot of people are wary, or they don't want to use it because they want to use more natural ingredients. So if you're looking for something natural, I would say go towards the route of peppermint oil. I think it's the closest in the family of rosemary oil in terms of the benefits and also the physical feeling that you get, the little tingling sensation that you get from it. So unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about this one, but you should be able to do stuff about the rest of the reasons why rosemary oil might not work for you. Okay, so the next reason why rosemary oil might not work for you is incorrect use. So the first incorrect way to use it is you're either using too much, which means you're like dousing your hair in rosemary oil every single night. Now, there may be some kind of positive benefits, but because you are clogging your follicles and putting so much oil in your hair constantly, you may be you may get a few of the hair growth benefits, but you also get adverse effects. So it's kind of pointless because whatever benefits you're getting, you are canceling them out by using too much product, which can make your hair tangle, it can clog your follicles, and just so many other things that are unnecessary. Using more of a product doesn't increase its efficacy because too much of a good thing can also be bad. So if you see something and it says use it one time a week, like exfoliants for your skin, usually a maximum of 3 times a week, and usually around 1 to 2 times a week is good enough. If you exfoliate your skin every single day, you are going to eat through your skin barrier. You're going to get lots of rough texture. Your skin will be terrible. You use it 1 to 2 times a week and your skin might flourish and just look amazing. So use things according to the directions. The other way is you may be using too little of it. So like I said, if this says like rosemary oil, I like to say 3, even 4 times a week is good enough. Or let me say that's the max. If the most beneficial is anywhere from 1 to 4 times a week and you use it once a month, you won't see any benefits because one, there's no magical product. There's no miracle product that's going to make your hair grow overnight. There's only things that can improve the rate of the way your hair is already growing. So if something is most beneficial, a minimum of once a week, and you use it once every other week or once every month, no matter how amazing that oil is, it's just not going to do anything for you. The last incorrect use you can have is using it directly on your scalp. I haven't really seen much of this on YouTube, but I have seen a lot of people on TikTok using the essential oil directly on your scalp. And I think a reason why a lot of people can get away with doing this is because rosemary oil, while it does have a tingling sensation, it's not as strong as peppermint, so it's not going to feel like a burn. So because you don't really feel any physical side effects, you think that it's just working perfectly fine. And it actually could potentially increase the rate of your hair growth because of increasing the blood flow to that area. But because it is so potent and highly concentrated, you could see side effects down the line like breakage, damaged follicles, and even more things like just affecting your physical health because it is meant to be diluted. It's kind of like what I was saying about using a product every single day. Using a more concentrated version of rosemary oil is not going to make it more effective. It's actually going to give you adverse effects. You should always use rosemary oil diluted into a carrier oil or at least another carrying aid like a rosemary water spritz, making sure that it's shaken up properly, and also in things like shampoo. But overly concentrating the rosemary oil is also not going to make it work better. It may actually cause adverse effects, whether it's in the short term or the long term. Okay, the next reason why rosemary oil might not work for you is because you may have some kind of a fungal infection. Now, usually people who experience a lot of dandruff that cannot be curbed by a lot of things like oil or just washing your hair more often, it may be something like seborrheic dermatitis, and this is more of a fungal dermatitis, which means that adding oils like the carrier oils we dilute the essential oil rosemary in, things like olive oil, can actually increase that breeding ground for the fungal infection. And so instead of it making your scalp feel refreshed and tingly, it's actually going to make your scalp feel more clogged and make you have more dandruff. So what you're going to need to do is tackle your fungal infection first, figure out what the situation with that is, and then go ahead and use the rosemary. Or you can find a different way to use it, like using it into your shampoo instead of using the direct rosemary oil that I would put on my scalp. So please look into that because fungal dandruff does not like oil. This next reason why rosemary oil might not work for you is one of the most annoying ones because there's not much you can do about it, but it's not actually a bad thing, it's a good thing. This is that your hair is already growing at optimum length. So I would like to relate to this as diet. You see these people who are super fit and extremely healthy, they eat very healthy food and all this like organic grass-fed beef and all these different things. And then they take like so many different supplements. And most of the time, you might find that they're actually just peeing out those extra supplements. And it actually does almost nothing because their diet is already optimal and they don't need to supplement anything. So it's just going to waste. So if you are fit, you are pretty active, you are very well hydrated, you drink lots of water, your moisturizer is doing a great job, your hair is hydrated, you're not experiencing any breakage, you're getting half an inch to 1 inch of month of growth every single month. There is a cap on how much hair growth you can have in a certain month. So you may actually be at your optimum health for your hair growth. So whatever hair growth you're currently experiencing, that may actually be your max. You've done it. You're doing so well. Everything is going so well that adding the rosemary oil is not going to add that much of a difference because you're already there. Not that you can improve upon it. You can always, of course, maintain where you are, and you can get the other benefits of rosemary oil, like the scalp stimulation, but it's just not going to show you anything more in terms of the thickness of your hair or how fast your hair is growing because it's already growing at its maximum length and you have already reached like the optimum thickness of your hair. Because remember that we are born with the same amount of follicles. So some of those follicles might be dormant, some of them might be damaged. So if you don't have damaged follicles, all your follicles are activated and they are working perfectly, you can't increase the number of follicles on your hair. So it is literally physically impossible to add more hairs on your head. So this is something you should be glad about actually because your hair is actually doing the best it can possibly do for you. This next reason why rosemary oil might not work for you is actually one of the most important, in my opinion, and I would say this is the one that you really need to listen to, okay? This might be that the problem is not the rosemary oil. The rosemary oil might be doing everything it promises to do on the package. Stimulates hair growth, makes your hair grow at the maximum rate it can possibly grow, improves the health of your hair, makes your scalp tingle, does everything it's promising to do. But you are doing the damage somewhere else. You're either combing your hair very violently, you are not moisturizing your hair properly, which means it is dry, it is breaking faster than it is growing, or at the same rate that it is growing. So you think your hair is just at the same length, nothing is happening. You are not shampooing your hair enough, so your scalp is clogged, your hair is dirty, and it's the wrong environment for your hair to reach its maximum growth potential. You have a terrible diet. you don't drink enough water, so your hair is not hydrated, your hair doesn't have enough nutrients. There's only so much rosemary oil can do topically. You have to look at what you're eating, how much sleep you're getting, how your health is overall. This is technically that rosemary oil is doing everything it promises to do, and you are fighting against the rosemary oil, and that is why it's not working for you, because you are the problem. If you want to know how to make your own rosemary oil, check this video out right here, and it's actually in a playlist so you can see all the other benefits of how to use rosemary oil, how to make it, why you should use it, and all that. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, and like this video as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!